Content warning. This video is going to contain some fairly gross discussion about an alleged sexual assault and also a lot of discussion of sexual harassment. So consider yourself content warned. Have you ever been lonely? I mean, really lonely? Being lonely fucking sucks. And we don't like it culturally when men are vulnerable. Toxic masculinity means that men have to appear strong and in control at all times. If you're lonely, toughen up. Meet people. Don't be a loser. You should be strong and charismatic all the time, like Indiana Jones or Steve Buscemi. If women don't desire you, it means you're a beta male loser. Besides, even if you didn't have it in your head that talking about your feelings was for little baby weaklings, who are you going to talk to? You're lonely. If you had someone you could talk to about your loneliness, you wouldn't be lonely, would you? Now imagine some slick-talking dipshit comes along and tells you he has all the answers. It's actually really easy to meet people, especially women, whose validation and attention you crave the most. All you have to do is learn some little tricks, and he's willing to teach you. For a price. And that's how men like me are suckered by pickup artists. For the uninitiated, pickup artists, or PUAs, or weird creeps, are clowns that teach men to sexually harass, intimidate, and otherwise dupe women into receiving what one can only assume to be the worst sex of their lives. We need to be absolutely 100% clear about something before I can go any further. PUAs are victimizers. They treat women like garbage, and they infect men with their toxic, sex-negative, abusive ideology. As I explain my experience with this culture, it may be tempting to feel sorry for these guys, or, me. But keep in mind that I, and all the other suckers like me, are adults who made shitty choices. The women preyed upon had no say in the matter, and they're the real victims here. Are we good? Is that clear? Okay. The, seduction community teaches lonely doofuses how to meet women. They run seminars, sell books, have web forums, subreddits, podcasts, documentaries, and TV shows, all dedicated to crunching the numbers on the best ways to get your sad little penis into as many vaginas as you can. Their teachings run the gamut from genuinely kind of helpful things like dressing nicely and not reeking of BO to the cartoonishly evil like breaking down women's self-esteem or taking advantage of laxer sex crime laws while traveling abroad. If you think that's an exaggeration, let me read from a book by a prominent pickup artist named Rushvi. While walking to my place, I realized how drunk she was. In America, having sex with her would have been rape, since she couldn't legally give her consent. It didn't help matters that I was relatively sober, but I can't say I cared or even hesitated. I won't rationalize my actions, but having sex is what I do. That's words that he himself wrote, and then thought you would read these words and think, yes, this is a man who I want to emulate. They cover a broad spectrum of ideas and techniques, but there is one core belief that they all share. Attractiveness is not innate, but rather a skill that can be taught. They teach that you can look like Quasimodo and still have sex with all the hottest women you've ever met, because a woman's standards are negotiable. Remember, if you settle for an uggo, you're a loser. You should make a pretty-o settle for you. That's how you win. That's how you win at dating. You see, men and women are different. Men are visually stimulated, so a woman, of course, has to be pretty to be attractive. Whereas women are emotionally stimulated, so a man can be a complete uggo and still win a woman's hearts and loins by demonstrating value. Women don't want a handsome man, they want a high-status man. Now let's just look at this list from Forbes of the most powerful people on Earth. Let's look at the men on the list who are all very high status, because this is, I guess, what we can assume women want. And what woman wouldn't want to fuck Mark Zuckerberg or Warren Buffett or Benjamin Netanyahu. Beefcake all around. Yum yum. You see, women aren't attracted to men because of any agency of their own. They're just biologically programmed to seek out high-status men. Notice I use the word biologically there? That's because this is all very scientific, and not at all just some weird projections of male insecurities. Good news though, you can learn to have status. Just be an alpha male with lots of confidence and a casual disregard for other people's boundaries. Just keep practicing. You can do it. There's absolutely no aspects to whether or not a woman finds you attractive that are beyond your control. Just be an alpha male, like Mark Zuckerberg. It seems really important to these guys that things like attraction or status are within your control. But why? What would they have to gain from this? What possible motivation could they have for getting people to believe something so counterintuitive? Why would they keep insisting this over and over? I just don't understand. This stuff works. I mean, not the parts that are about unlocking sex mind control. That's mostly horseshit. I mean that it suckers in dumb, horny, and credulous men. And it's not hard to figure out why. It worked on me. If you're lonely and thirsty, it's easy to be manipulated. The idea that whether or not people like you is within your control, that's really appealing to some people. And Pickup offers a community of like-minded dump lords who validate both your preconceptions about the negotiability of a woman's consent and also the weird pseudoscience nonsense that the rest of the community fills your head with. When you're already super lonely, having a community changes everything. Even if you have to believe stupid things to be a part of that community, it's easy to shut out your own doubts. Not to mention, not everything they say is, wrong. I mean, PUAs believe a lot of terrible and sleazy stuff, but they do have some good advice to offer. They tell guys to groom themselves, look nice, smell nice, make eye contact, stand up straight, talk to strangers, make friends. That kind of thing sounds rudimentary, but when you grow up a socially stunted mega nerd, it can be helpful to have someone explain how to wear clothes that fit and what to do with your hands when you're talking. When you get rid of all the toxic attitudes and nonsense, there is some truth to the idea that you can get better at being the type of person who people want to be around. The problem is, once people see results from the surface level stuff, it's hard to make them see how harmful the rest of it is. It was for me. I was suckered by Pickup for a long time, and while I didn't necessarily subscribe to all of their colorful views, it did make me think of women as a means to an end rather than people. I didn't want it to, but it did. I learned to be a more charming person, on the outside anyway, but that loneliness didn't go away, because I wasn't connecting with people. I was manipulating them, and I knew it. You'll never get rid of loneliness that way. It keeps you lonely. It alienates you from everyone trying to genuinely connect with you, because you're trapped in your head, trying to strategize instead of connecting back. I think that's kind of heartbreaking, because there's so much room for a version of this that isn't so toxic. A version that teaches men to be less afraid of socializing with women without treating them like interchangeable sex puzzles. Something that treats women like human beings who deserve respect, regardless of whether or not they want to have sex with you. My suggestion for lonely dudes? If you want to know how to attract women without hurting women, don't ask men. Ask women. They'll tell you what they like, what they're sick of, and how they wish men would behave around them. Even then, remember, individual women are different, and there's no rule of thumb that's going to make you able to be attractive to everyone. And anyone who tells you otherwise is trying to sell you something. Also, you could just get a dog, and then people will want to be your friend because you have a dog. And even if they don't want to be your friend, the dog will be your friend, so just get a dog. Dummy, adopt a dog. Go ahead, do it. Just get a dog. Hashtag get a dog. Hashtag get a dog. Hey, thanks for watching my video. This is the end of the video, and here's a couple more ones if you want to see those. Okay, bye.